After an interesting championship season full of controversy and issues behind the scene, Sheffield United still managed to grasp Premier League football for next season. But with some much needed Premier League quality still yet to arrive at Bramall Lane and a few players that aren't quite good enough for the top flight, here is exactly what Sheffield United must do to avoid relegation. First on the to-do list this summer has to be keeping Iliman Ndiaye. Ndiaye is an incredible football player all round, insane technical ability, brilliant on the eye and still puts up brilliant numbers. Sheffield United have already done brilliantly to keep Premier League interest away from their star man up until this point. With clubs like Everton and West Ham already sniffing around the Senegalese attacker, keeping him has to be a priority this summer. It is reported that the consensus at the club is to retain Iliman, with it rumoured to take many big changes behind the scenes for the Blades to lose their coming of Jesus Christ. After such an inspiring come up in the professional game, already making his first Prem appearance with United and now looking at his first start for a Premier League side, he would be absolutely insane to risk a move to somewhere new. If he moves away, who's to say that he will gel straight away and will be allowed straight into that first 11 if it is for someone such as West Ham, whereas he could just stay at Sheffield United and be the shining light in a, let's say, mediocre side. Now the departures of Doyle and McAtee are going to be so detrimental to Paul Heckingbottom's side as their loans finish this summer. If we're looking for replacements, I've found one or two midfielders that would definitely replicate the numbers that were outputted by the two Man City loanees. However, one of them is much more expensive and one of them is, let's say, a little bit more in the price bracket. First off, Joey Veerman. Incredibly talented when it comes to the technical side of the game and partnered with his brilliant passing range, which sees him average a crazy 11.21 progressive passes per 90. On top of these crazy final third statistics, which see him sit in the top 2% of players in his position for almost everything, Veerman also offers solid defensive capabilities, which in a team like Sheffield United, who aren't going to have lots of the ball for the majority of games, is going to be very, very important for their midfield. However, as I briefly mentioned earlier on, the issue around this transfer would be the £14 million which he is valued at on Transfermarkt. With lots of financial issues and uncertainty already at Bramall Lane, there's almost no way I could see them forking out what would need to be around £20 million for this massively talented 24-year-old. However, that does let us move on to the second option, and one that's a lot more realistic, with the fact that Sheffield United are already very much so in talks for him. Anis Slimani. I've definitely butchered that. Slimani is a brilliant all-round midfielder who strives in scenarios which allow him to create shooting opportunities, whether it be from deeper in the pitch or closer to the final third. Partner in this, Anis definitely strives in the very centre of the pitch. He allows the ball to phase from the defence to the attacking third as a result of his incredible footwork and precise passing. On top of that, he's valued at just €2 million on Transfermarkt, which obviously makes it such a bargain signing, and for someone that's just 22 years old, I can't really see this going wrong unless he struggles to adapt to the Premier League, which from watching him and seeing the way he plays, I really can't see it happening. Moving a little bit deeper in the pitch and looking at someone that could add some more stability to the back line of Paul Heckingbottom.
No, don't make it gay.
Not like that, lads. It's a very interesting one due to the situation that Sheffield United are actually in. They don't have too much money, but at the same time need some Premier League experience, whilst also adding someone that's going to add value to the squad and also still be pretty good. So for this one, I'm going to go a little bit out there.
I'm going to go bold.
Taylor Harwood-Bellis on loan. Who says no? With Burnley signing more centre-halves than I've had hot dinners, I really don't think a return to Lancashire is going to be on the cards for Harwood-Bellis. However, I also don't think that it's out of the question that he finds a Premier League loan. A naturally gifted leader and someone that is destined for the very, very top. I'm sure any Burnley fan will agree with that statement. Harwood-Bellis could be exactly what is needed at Bramall Lane. I mean, you can just imagine partnering Amidovojevic. It would just be beautiful, lads. Although Man City would take £15 million for his services, I really think, due to the fact that Heckingbottom doesn't have that kind of money, finances available to go and buy him, a loan could still work. Easily one of the best defenders in the Championship last season, averaging just under 2 blocks per 90 and sitting in the top 25% for aerial duels won last season. Alongside this, he has already been exposed to so much first-team football at such a young age. I really can't see this move going wrong at all. The loan also allows the behind-the-scenes transitional period to happen, with a loan filling the gap until new owners can hopefully take the reins. This brings me to tactical and behind the scenes changes which must happen. Big shout out to Jay Turns on Twitter for giving me some little insight from the fans on this situation. New owners are desperately needed. After nearly being scammed out of a club by billionaire owners who actually didn't have a penny to their name, and also then allegedly not even being able to pay in Bramall Lane towards the end of the season, it can't continue. It is rumoured that an American group are interested in the investment, investment in Sheffield United, and the sooner this happens, the better for everyone involved. You can't operate on such a shoestring budget unless you get every single transfer right in the Premier League. And with signings like Ryan Brewster, we know that isn't the Blade's specialty. Moving on though, with any promoted team, usually tactical changes are a must. However, I don't actually think Sheffield United need to change all that much. Last season, the Blades conceded the second least goals per game, whilst also scoring the third most per 90. This is definitely due to their hard working and rigid defensive stability which they uphold throughout games. I do however think they are still going to have to adapt very slightly, and obviously the pressure on Iliman Ndiaye is only going to get greater. On top of that, not really having a Premier League scorer, they are going to need goal scorers all across the pitch which are capable to strive in counter-attacking scenarios. However, they have shown that they are more than capable of fighting off Premier League opposition, defeating Spurs in the cup due to some, you guessed it, Iliman Ndiaye brilliance. They also put a very respectable performance in at Wembley in front of the treble winners, so I guess it isn't all that bad. However, as I said before, a huge issue is that goal scoring threat. But Ollie McBurney may actually suit the system if they do choose to operate in a counter-attacking system. Holding the ball up and linking play as a target man whilst also bringing the more skilled midfielders and wingers into the play could be a perfect role for the Scottish shithouse. But this does now allow me to discuss the proposition of Benny Traore. With a fee of around £5 million allegedly being agreed, potentially Traore could fill the goal scoring void with his 12 goals in 14 for Allsvenskan last season. A very technically gifted player who could be perfect if the Blades are to adapt to a lower possession, fast attacking style due to his lightning quick pace and consistency in finding the back of the net. However, he is still very raw and would definitely take time to settle into the demands of the Premier League. But if he does adapt well, he could be an excellent signing, especially for such a small fee. Anyways lads, if you have enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.